So the establishment had signaled that Joe Biden was their man. They're following lockstep. Bloomberg is actually talking to his advisors about his campaign futures, and I'm pretty sure I know what his advisors are telling him, but we'll get into that here in a minute. And Bernie Sanders has an emergency injunction in California to keep the polls open because people were still waiting in line for hours and hours after the polls closed, and they were trying to urge people to wait in line and vote. And yeah, let's read this. Joe Biden scores stunning wins. Oh, wait, that's not the whole title. Hold on. Woo. See, I could do clickbait too. No, actually, clickbait would be this. Joe Biden scores stunning win. And cut it off right there and let people think, what? Joe Biden won? And then see how many people just run with the title, right? 5 takeaways as Joe Biden scores stunning wins on Super Tuesday. Joe Biden dominated across the South on Tuesday and scored a dramatic upset victory in Texas. While surprising in Minnesota, Minnesota was absolutely surprising. I thought Sanders would get Minnesota. Massachusetts, I actually did think that Biden was going to get Massachusetts, but I didn't think he was going to get Minnesota. I would have bet my bottom dollar that Bernie Sanders would have got Minnesota. I really did. But it went to Minnesota. It went to Biden, I mean. Roaring into contention in a Democratic presidential primary that increasingly looks like a two-way race between the former vice president and Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. Biden ended the night with 9 wins and still locked in a tight race in Maine, another state he'd ignored that could make 10. Yeah, all these states that he had like breezed over, completely ignored, or pretty much had gone uncontested, he won, which is weird. And Sanders will wait to see if the day's biggest prize, California, will allow him to catch or surpass Biden. And like I said, Bernie Sanders has an emergency junction because the polls closed at 8. California was trying a new system. They'd rolled out a whole bunch of new voting systems and things like that, voting booths and things like that, but people were still waiting in line for hours and hours and hours and hours. So we'll see what happens there. It'll be a while for that one. The number of delegates each candidate won is what matters, and it'll take days or even weeks to sort through how they'll be divided up from the results of the 14 states and America Samoa, which account for a combined 34% of Democrats' pledged delegates. California counts all ballots postmarked by Election Day, so they could still be coming in, and they're not being counted just yet because they're still coming in, extending the time it takes to report results, meaning the state's impact on Democrats' delegate math won't be clear anytime soon. No. Bloomberg, his $560 million may have been a bust, but here's what's going on. He is talking to his advisors. His advisors are telling him this: stay in the race. I will be highly surprised if Bloomberg drops out, because remember, we got that second vote. And with contention between Biden and Sanders, throw Bloomberg in there, campaign hard, divide the vote, take it to a contested convention, and in that second vote at the contested convention, then Bloomberg stands a 50-50. Right now he didn't stand a snowball's chance in hell, but he could stand a 50-50 if they take it to a contested convention. That second vote, don't deny the power that money has on that second vote. That first vote, the money is more towards advertising, name recognition, and things like that. And evidently nowadays in modern politics, how much mudslinging that you can throw at the other person. So when the people go to the polls, I remember this person said this dumb thing, I'm going to vote for the other guy, and whatever. But that second vote, that establishment vote, money is a big contender in that. So Bloomberg has a 50-50 if it goes to a contested convention, in my opinions. But you have your own opinions, and I'd love to hear them. Give me a like, a thumbs up, a comment, a subscribe. What you think? Who do you like? Who do you hate? What do you do? I don't know. What do you do? So did Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren's bid to navigate a middle course between Sanders and Biden, only to trail both of them in her home state with half the votes there counted. The futures of the Bloomberg and Warren campaign are a major question mark moving forward. Yeah. And I think Bloomberg should stay in. I mean, strategically speaking, yes, Bloomberg should stay in. Divide the vote. Divide the vote is what Bloomberg wants to even stand a chance. Have so many delegates in there. When the delegates started dropping out, that was Bloomberg cringing, saying, he wanted a lot of delegates. And when the establishment signaled Biden and the delegates dropped out and they started consolidating their votes and their endorsements around Biden, well, that was the signal. So we'll see. We'll see. Until days ago, Biden's campaign had limped along with little organization and lagging fundraising. He'd barely advertised in Super Tuesday states and didn't have field offices in some of them. Excuse me. Sanders had more staffers on the ground in California than Biden did across the entire map. It's because when they're looking at it, they're looking at Bloomberg as perhaps the most moderate of them all, even though his brain is showing signs of failing. So with Biden's campaign, my theory is this: we're not voting for Biden, we're voting for Biden's vice president. That's who we're voting for. Oh my Lord. Anyways, that's just a brief summary. I'm not going to go into that one too deep. For some reason my tongue feels like it's swollen. So I'm going to drink some water and things like that. But let me know what you guys think. Are there any candidates that you like? Do we have any saving grace anywhere? Republican or Democrat? I don't know. We will see. Good morning to y'all. I love you guys. Stay informed, and I will see you guys on the next one. And thank you for this brief update on this. I gotta get some water. My tongue feels swollen.